Also in our new poll, some interesting data about Hillary Clinton and the email controversy. 51% of Americans say it's a serious problem, her use of personal, private email when Secretary of State. 48% say no. I think we should get used to that over the next couple of years. A relatively evenly divided America on questions relating to Hillary Clinton. Favorable opinion, though, of Hillary Clinton. 53% of Americans have a favorable opinion of her. Now, that's down 6 points from November 14. Some of that I would take as people being concerned about this email controversy. I think we also have to be honest and say part of it is probably just because she's now a political figure again. She's not Secretary of State. She's a candidate for president.
Yeah, I think some of this drop was inevitable for her. If you remember, when she left the State Department, her approval ratings were sky high. These were crazy approval ratings for Hillary Clinton. So she was coming back down to earth as she got more involved in politics. Now she's on the cusp of actually running for president. I think we're going to see her numbers perhaps dip a little bit. But I don't think you can underestimate the impact of the emails. I don't think it's going to be what people are voting on next November, but it's the first thing that people are hearing about as she's preparing to run for president. And it's not positive. And I think she's going to have to deal with that still. That one press conference is not going to be enough.
Even 30% of Democrats say they thought it was a problem, that she had done something wrong. Lucky for her, there's no credible challenger out there at the moment. But it's interesting. You look at the data and you see, a majority of Americans say they think it was wrong. 30% of Democrats, that's a problem for her. Of course, most Republicans do. So you see some numbers that are, her negatives are up. Is she honest and trustworthy? Her honesty numbers are down. And yet, 57%, look at this number in our poll, say they would be proud to have Hillary Clinton as their president. So there's some conflicting data here. Clearly, she's viewed as somebody who could make history as the first female president. Clearly viewed as somebody who is serious and has gravitas to a broad swath of Americans, yet they have some questions about certain things.
Well, and I think that they've always had those questions about Hillary Clinton. I think that if you dig into the numbers in this poll, you find that Republicans still dislike Hillary Clinton, and Democrats still like Hillary Clinton, and that's basically how you get all of these numbers. But I've called a bunch of people in Iowa and New Hampshire, which are the early voting states, and I think it's really not as big a deal there as it is here in Washington, D.C. And it hasn't had the staying power out in real America that it's had here. But it is a reminder of sort of that old narrative and the way it reminds people of how they feel about Hillary Clinton and how they've felt about her since 1991 or two.
Secretive, in control. I think it's a big deal that there's, Bernie Sanders, Martin O'Malley, the Democrats who may run against her, Bernie Sanders, an independent, they've said they don't want to talk about this. So if you had a Democrat who wanted to raise this as an issue, I think you might have a different political dynamic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it speaks to Hillary Clinton's position in the party. I mean, even a Martin O'Malley, who may want to make a run for president for a whole bunch of different reasons, doesn't want to damage the person who is almost certain to be his party's nominee.
Yeah, the party understands it has invested all of its money in this bank account, or just about all of it, and it can't get it back right now. So she's a